What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is Marrying Millions, Season 3, Episode 8. So we start off with Rick and Erica. Rick is back in Miami. His friends come over. He lets his friends know what happened, that Erica called the wedding off. And, of course, his friends ain't want her to marry him anyway. Want him to marry her anyway. And so they're cool with it. They're not upset. They ain't mad, or anything. And, they said, listen, maybe that was the best thing. Like, you didn't even have a prenup. He was like, yeah, you kind of right. And it's funny because when his friends were trying to tell him about getting a prenup before, he was like, I don't care about a prenup. I just love her and we're going to be in love. And it's all love and love and love and love, right? And the more he talked to them, I think the more he realized, you know what? I don't want this to be over, but maybe it did happen for a reason. He said he misses her. He's waiting to hear from her, and he's sort of just sad and depressed about it. So his friends were like, listen, we can't have him sitting on this boat being depressed, being all upset about it. So they invited a bunch of women over to have like a little get together, a little party. And all Rick is doing is talking about Erica. Erica, 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 Erica. Erica, 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 Erica. And they were like, okay. And they tried to get him to snap out of it. They were like, listen, we got all these beautiful women sitting here. If you don't, and they were like, well, we not gonna, if you're not gonna snap out of it, I guess we'll just have to take the party somewhere else. He was like, okay. Like, I'm just not feeling it. If y'all want to take the party somewhere else, take the party somewhere else. I'm just not feeling it. So that's Erica and Rick, child. So, I'm sorry. Bree and Bill. Listen, I'm sick of Bree and Bill. Bree confronts Bill about the conversation she had with he had with the ex-wife of Kathleen. And she's like, listen, why are you telling Kathleen our business? Like, that was between the two of us. That was not her business. Second of all, Kathleen is acting like I'm after your money or something. Like, I'm coming after you for your money. And that is hurtful and it bothers me. And I'm not going to keep doing this. Like, this is the third time I've had a run-in with Kathleen. Every time I tell you about how rude she is to me and how badly she treats me. And it doesn't seem to be a problem for you. You don't seem to understand it from my point of view. And if this is what it's going to be, then I can't be with you. If this is what it's going to be, then I can't be with you. So later on in the episode, we see his realtor come over to the house. Now, remember the last time he had the realtor come over, he ended up getting her a promise ring, that big-ass, gaudy-ass ring. But this time he told, I said realtor, jeweler. But this time he told the jeweler, no, I am looking for an engagement ring. I'm ready to pop the question. And then they kept showing these rings and he was like, no, bigger. He said, well, how much is this ring? Oh, this ring is $200,000. Oh, that's not expensive enough. Give it, I need more. I need more. I need more. Almost as if the bigger the ring, the I don't know. It was just like this whole ego thing. Like, again, Bree was like, I told you, like, Bree told him earlier in the episode, like, I don't need all of that. Like, I was good with my little job, driving my little car. I'm not going to sacrifice my happiness to live lavishly. And I think most people, to a certain extent, probably don't believe her. But I think, she certainly, obviously, she loves the life that she's living. She loves the life that it affords her. But I think the point is, I'm not willing to sacrifice happiness for this lifestyle. I love you and I want to be with you and I want this to work. But I'm not going to keep dealing with Kathleen ass. And I'm damn sure not going to keep being called a gold digger, right? So we'll see what happens with that, child. I feel like Bill and Bree has been on, they're the only couple that has been on all 3 seasons. And I feel like this is what they do every season. They give us this, oh, is he going to marry her? Is he not going to marry her cliffhanger, right? Anyway. Noni and Reese. Noni is telling her friends about Reese and that her and Reese are engaged and, she's been MIA. And so her friends are like, listen, what's going on? Where you been? And she was like, well, we're sort of in that honeymoon stage and, that's just kind of where we are and we love each other and we're in love. And her friends are like, okay, yeah, but where you been? Like, you can't just be kicking us to the curb just because you in love. And she was like, I know, I'll do better. But me and Reese are engaged. And, this is where we are. This is what we're doing with our relationship. And, of course, her friends were like, what? You know what I'm saying? Her friends are shocked to find out that she's planning on getting married. But they're like, listen, we're happy for you. We're happy that this is what you decided to do. We got your back. And of course she's appreciative of it because, of course, that's the last thing she got from Reese's family. Now, Erica is also talking to her grandmother and her brother about the marriage. She said that, she does still love Rick and hopefully they can maybe work things out. But she does think she made the right decision and she hasn't talked to Rick since he left. And, she's just focusing on spending time with her family and hopefully they can work things out. I think they're going to work things out. I don't know whether they're going to get married or not, but I definitely think that they're going to get back together and we'll see how that works itself out. All right. Katie and Kevin. So Katie and Kevin, they did not get back together. Kevin eventually moved to Miami. She said they did keep in touch for a while, but after a while it just sort of fizzled out, and he eventually moved to Miami. And I'm like, so he moved to Vegas because it was going to be such a great tax shelter. And then he moved to Miami. And again, I don't know nothing about tax law. So maybe Miami has a great tax shelter too. Maybe he moved away to get away from her. I don't know. But she said she's doing really good in Vegas. She's making really great tips. And she said, I stayed in Vegas because I signed a damn lease. Like, I can't just be breaking leases and moving around. Like, I got to, so if it's a 6-month lease or a 12-month lease, I don't know. But she likes her job and she said she's making really good tips. So she's living pretty good. Her apartment is fully furnished now. No more air mattress that he was making fun of and all of that. And she actually has herself a new little friend. Now, he ain't no millionaire, but she said she never needed all of that. Like, she just wanted a boyfriend, someone who cared about her. Now, she's not calling this guy her boyfriend. They are friends, and they met at the gym. And so they're sort of taking things a little slow. Now, Rodney and Desiree. Rodney decided that he was okay with going to counseling, and so he flew Desiree out. He picked her up from the airport, and they on their way to counseling. And basically Rodney is telling her, listen, what I don't want is for you to use this as an opportunity to try to find out who I cheated on you with. Like, if we're going to go to therapy, we're going to go to therapy to basically fix our relationship and deal with the issues. And it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street because, everything ain't perfect with you either, ma'am. So they get to the therapist and the therapist is like, well, what are we here for? Why are y'all here? We're here for our pre-marital counseling. And Desiree, of course, tells the whole story about how he cheated on her. How they weren't having sex. She didn't believe in sex before marriage. But, he cheated on her and, that broke their trust. And even though she agreed to marry him, she still has a hard time trusting him. And so he was like, well, why did we get back together? Like, I thought that once we went through the whole proposal and everything, I thought we were good. Like, we agreed to get married. I thought the whole situation was done. It was a wrap. Like, we worked this out. And she was like, yeah, Rodney, but I need to understand why you did it. Like, why didn't you? And he said, listen, but you didn't catch me. I told you. I was honest with you about it. Like, you didn't catch me cheating on you. I told you I cheated on you. Which I will never understand why people feel like they get brownie points for admitting they did something wrong. Like, you did something wrong. You don't get brownie points for being honest about it. Like, and like she said, but I wish that he had told me up front, listen, I'm having some problems. This whole celibacy thing isn't working for me. I'm having some issues, And the counselor told him, she said, listen, infidelity is never about sex. She said, in this relationship, Rodney uses his money as power over her. And she uses sex as power over him. And that's their biggest problem. They also talked about the prenup. And she said Rodney never brought up a prenup until the infidelity. Then all of a sudden it's the prenup. Well, Rodney said, well, my mother brought that up. That was my mother's idea. And the counselor said, okay, so the elephant in this room is your mother. Like, your mother's the problem. Baby, what she say that for? Rodney wasn't hearing that. Rodney don't like to hear nothing bad about his mama, which I can understand because that's his mama and he respects his mother. But he was like, we ain't about to beat up on my mama. Like, no, she suggested a prenup because she was looking out for me, because she loves me and she want to look out for my best interest. We ain't about to beat up on my mama. That ain't what this is getting ready to happen. That ain't what about to happen here. And the counselor said, but you really need to think about that. Like, you really need to think about how much does your mother's influence, how much is that affecting your relationship with Desiree? And he brought up Desiree's anger management, her anger issues, and the way she goes off at the handle and everything, which of course that's a valid point too. And so I feel like the counselor did a good job. And like she said, that infidelity, it ain't about who he cheated with. It's about the why. Like, the who isn't the issue. It really is about the why. Now, at the end of the day, Desiree want to know who. Desiree, you really don't want to know who. You don't really want to know. So anyway, that was pretty much what happened there. We see the previews for next week where he going to be talking to his mama, honey. And it seemed like some things are going to come to light about why his mama is so concerned. Okay? Okay. That was pretty much it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.